Doing some supplementary May Day, I guess, coverage here. I found this really great thread by Comrade Hailey from TheKultureDotTV. We're going to do a meandering history of May Day, a holiday born out of the struggle for labor rights and against police brutality. Since this is supplemental, I'll try to skip stuff that we've covered in the last video here. All right, 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. Yeah. Yoshi, how many of those hours do we need to set aside so you can sit on my lap? Can you let me know? It's going to be tricky. They say cannabis impacts your memory. I don't remember them saying that at all. The post-Civil War era was the bloodiest in U.S. labor history. The Great Railroad Strike of 1877 brought the industry to its knees. Per St. Louis's Republican newspaper, quote, "It's wrong to call this a strike, it's a labor revolution." Wow. Local militias were unwilling or unable to help. Rutherford B. Hayes was the president, was deep in the pockets of railroad magnates, ordered the army to put down the strike. Have you heard about this? Over 100 workers were massacred. I didn't know about this. All they tell you about is Triangle Shirt Factory. A shirtwaist factory. Right? This is known as the Battle of the Viaduct. It was one of the largest and bloodiest battles in labor history. 10,000 workers fought police and federal troops. Jay Gould, robber baron of the Gilded Age, once boasted, "I could hire one half of the working class to kill the other half." That's just awful. In the 1880s, the Knights of Labor emerged and successfully striked his railroad, forcing complete surrender. Membership skyrocketed from 100 to 700,000. 84, the U.S. Federation of Organized Trade and Labor Unions passed a resolution declaring that, as of May 1st, 1886, an 8-hour workday would be the full and legal workday for all U.S. workers. If not recognized, a general strike would ensue. Now that's based. That's awesome. You got a general strike and you have a very solid, concrete thing that you're asking for that you very well deserve. On May 1st, 1886, 400,000 went on strike demanding an 8-hour workday. On May 3rd, a protest against mass layoffs at the McCormick Harvesting Machine Factory ended in the massacre of 6 workers. In response, the IWPA organized a rally against police brutality at the Haymarket Square, and we know how that turned out. Additional details. For one, the only one of the 8 in attendance was attempting to defuse the crowd before the shootout. For 2 of them, most police casualties were friendly fire. Wow, I didn't know about that. Afterwards, a nationwide curfew was put in effect, and the federal government conducted mass raids on the homes and organizing space of leftists. It was one of the largest crackdowns on freedom of speech and association in American history. We are seeing, I think, arguably another crackdown right now. It's just that tech companies are doing it for the state. Arguably, the state's well connected to the tech companies. But yeah, I digress. Elites versus people. That's what history's always been about. Class war. Give me a class war. I want a class war. Shout out Rathbone. Cops don't like when you protest violence they depend on to keep you in line. Yeah, they're like, hold on, this is my job. Why don't you like when I do my job? You got a bad job, bro. Get a real job. Reading on. The jury for the trial was handpicked by bailiff Henry L. Rice. Uh-oh, this is sus, dude. Appointed by State Attorney General Grinnell, Rice stated, "I'm managing this case, and I know what I'm about. These fellows are going to be hanged as certain as death." Defense was barred from citing this in court. The jury was comprised entirely of police sympathizers. businessmen, clerks, relative of one dead officer. Oh, wow. Grinnell's final statement to the court: law is on trial. Anarchy is on trial. These men have been selected, picked out of the grand jury, and indicted because they were leaders. There are no more guilty than the thousands who follow them. Yeah, wow. Gentlemen of the jury, convict these men, make examples of them, hang them, and you save our institutions, our society. The Haymarket Eight were convicted on charges of murder and anarchy and sentenced to death. 4 men were executed by hanging. 1 took their own life. 600,000 workers attended their funeral. Wow, holy crap, indeed. I wonder what you were replying to in specifically. The radical history of May Day was immediately obfuscated, suppressed by the U.S. ruling class. Right. They did the thing. They made Labor Day in September instead of May 1st. 150,000 workers in 27 states participated in the 1894 strike. When the American Railway Union refused to break up the strike, Cleveland declared striking a federal crime and sent 15,000 police, army, and National Guard to end it by force. They don't tell you much about this in school. On July 7th, U.S. troops massacred 34 workers holding the line and set fire to 7 buildings and 700 rail cars. Wow. This is reminding me of the, I want to say Rise? Hey, guys. Move? The Move bombing in Philly? When Philly, I believe, with the help of the FBI, bombed an entire neighborhood, burnt down 60 homes. Check that out. That happened in the 80s. 1980s. Yeah? But we do have federal holidays, but we do have federal holidays on May 1st in the U.S. The Law Day? It's called Law Day and Loyalty Day? Oh, man. We talked about Loyalty Day. Loyalty Day. Per the code, Loyalty Day is a special day for the reaffirmation of loyalty to the United States and for the recognition of the heritage of American freedom. But remember, Americans are the freest, least propagandized people in the world. Exactly. We have so much democracy. Let's go. Right, Yoshi? Are you having a good time? Yeah. She's mad I stopped scratching the back of her head. In 1958, Eisenhower adopted Law Day. Quote, in a very real sense, the world no longer has a choice between force and law. If civilization is to survive, it must choose the rule of law. That is so weird. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to do. What are the words? President's proclamations on Loyalty Day are reflective of their views and legacies. JFK's 61 address emphasized freedom over totalitarianism 3 days before Bay of Pigs. Oh, man. That embarrassed him very much. Yeah. Biden's Law Day address, unsurprisingly, is full of vapid hand-wringing about the necessity of the rule of law in quelling racial turmoil, in addition to imperialist assertions of combating authoritarianism abroad. Wow. They're still, like, talking about it. President's making a proclamation. All right, and we'll finish with a new video from Hailey. That thread, I believe, was from a year ago. This is a new one from this year. Make sure y'all watch TheKultureDotTV on Twitch as well as YouTube. Here's Hailey from TheKultureDotTV.
May Day, or International Workers' Day, is a revolutionary holiday honoring the immense sacrifices made by laborers in the struggle against capital. But despite its bloody birth in Chicago's Haymarket Square, May Day is a holiday whose history is often obscured in the West. Haymarket capped off the most violent decades in American labor history, spurring a global outpouring of solidarity that endures in over 160 countries 135 years on. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, and 8 hours of recreation by May 1st, 1886. These were the demands asserted 2 years prior by the American labor movement. When that fateful day arrived and the capitalists refused to concede, 400,000 workers across the United States went on strike, with Chicago at the epicenter. On May 3rd, workers gathered at the McCormick Harvesting Machine Factory to protest hundreds of layoffs intended to break the strike. Police responded with force, killing 6 people. The following day, a peaceful demonstration was held at Haymarket Square in protest of the ongoing police brutality. Families, young children, and even the mayor were in attendance. As the demonstration came to a close, 180 police officers marched to meet the remaining 200 demonstrators on the boss's orders, the police, as always, protecting the interests of capital over people. In the midst of the ensuing brawl, a bomb was detonated from behind police lines, killing 6 officers. Police opened fire in a retaliatory massacre that killed a still unknown amount of workers and wounded hundreds. In one of the
Could have been a false flag.
biggest show trials in history, 8 anarchist organizers, 7 of which were not in attendance, were convicted of murder without evidence. Known as the Haymarket Martyrs, 4 men, Albert Parsons, August
If they're going to convict people without evidence, I get to say maybe it was a false flag without evidence.
Spees, George Engel, and Adolf Fischer were summarily executed by the state. Louis Ling took his own life, and the remaining 3 were pardoned after 6 years in prison. Mass demonstrations broke out in Europe and the Americas in response to the incident, and in 1890 the Second International officially recognized May 1st as a day of striking and remembrance for those lost at Haymarket. 52 years after Haymarket in 1938, the 8-hour workday was finally adopted. So today,
CRT's is riffing. That's you need a kappa.
May 1st, we honor the sacrifices of the Haymarket martyrs and reflect on the incredible and devastating events that transpire when labor stands to meet the might of capital.
Okay. And we'll go ahead and thank the YouTube audience for watching to the end of this clip. YouTube audience, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm about to end this clip, so live audience, you stick around. YouTube audience, join us here on the live stream. We do this every day. I hang out with chat. We talk about content. I try to promote important voices, etc., etc. Make sure you come and join us over here. You can also support the stream on Patreon for $3 a month. Patreon.com/IdanSimpson. Huge shout out to all the patrons that keep this stream alive. Love your face. Thank you all very much. Have a nice day. Have a really nice day.